Welcome to our scholarship management system demo. In this video, we will walk through the system features organized by their functionality and demonstrate how they meet the requirements outlined in our software requirement specification.
Let's start by showcasing the front-end user account features. First, for requirement 9.1.1, we're going to go ahead and create a new account. So Chris is going to hit the Create Account button. As you can see, these are all of the fields that the user needs to enter. So they'll start off by entering a username and then a password. This is up to the user. And then their security question one question, and then their answer to that question. And then we have two security questions to allow for password resets, which we'll get into in the future. And now, once Chris finishes this up, we're going to go ahead and enter the first name and last name, as well as their applicable net ID, and then their phone number. And then finally, their email address. And now their account has been created. So now Chris can go ahead and log into that account. And all accounts on creation are created as a student. This is due to the requirements, and only an administrator can change that student role, which will be talked about later on. So now that we are viewing the student dashboard, we can move on to requirement 9.1.2, which allows the student to log in, as we have just seen, with their username and password. And now, is that requirement I was talking about earlier, Chris can go ahead and log out and then log in as an administrator. So we have a hard-coded admin, and the password is admin, but we do have features that will let the user know if they do enter an incorrect password. So now Chris is going to go ahead and go to view users. And then this is requirement 9.1.3, which allows the admin to see all of the users as well as change their roles. So Chris can go ahead and make himself or his user account one of the many users supported by this application. And then go ahead and hit update there, Chris. And then we can also edit this information. So if you hit edit info, you can change basic things like their username, their email, or their phone number. And all of that's been updated successfully. So we have covered requirements 9.1.1, requirements 9.1.2, and requirements 9.1.3. And now we're moving on to requirements 9.1.4.
Yes, for requirements 9.1.4, you'll need to log into the student dashboard for student application management. Okay, so students can submit a scholarship application by providing the required fields like full name, major, GPA, current year, etc. Okay, and then the second, that was 9.1.4, just able to apply to a specified or unspecified scholarship, and 9.1.5 is modifying that application. Okay, and the application gets updated successfully, and those are 9.1.4 and 9.1.5. Next, we'll go to 9.1.6.
All right, so we are now going to the scholarship management features. So Chris is going to log out to go to scholarship admin once again. Here we have a button where you can create a new scholarship. Um, to do so, you'll enter in the scholarship name, description, amount, sponsor information, and some eligibility criteria, as you will see. All right, as you see, Chris just made the new scholarship as an admin. Now you're going to modify that same scholarship to cover requirement 9.1.7. Let's change something. Perfect. And now we've been able to update that scholarship. So once scholarships are available, all users can view available scholarships, even the admin. So let's click view scholarships to cover 9.1.9. And from there, you can filter based on criteria such as required major, GPA, deadlines, or amount. So after seeing this, we've been able to complete requirements 9.1.9 as well as 9.1.10. We're going to now move on to requirements 9.1.8.
Okay, so we're now going to talk about the matching engine. So moving forward, reviewers can review applicants for specific scholarships using a dedicated GUI. So we'll see that now. Let me sign in as a reviewer here. We got to log out. Reviewer and reviewer. That's our password for that one. Okay, so we can view our applicants for the scholarships. Right now, we only have one applicant, which is interesting. That's because right now I'm only assigned to this scholarship. So let me very quickly make a new scholarship here for this is the best scholarship ever. Let me go back into a student account here. Sorry for the delay. I'm going to apply for a scholarship. Just so we can show we have different matching scores. I'll just make the same whatever. Here we go. Software. This time his minor is CS. GPA will make him 2.5. He's a freshman this time. Hispanic. Not bad. That's okay. And hello. Create another application. Log out. Go back to our reviewer here. It's be a lowercase r. Okay. So we view our applicants. And so we see that there are, two applicants. They have the same matching score because they're the same person pretty much. And so they meet the same criteria. But if I go in and manually edit this matching score, I can make this a 4, for example. And now it's above the one that has a 3. And I can look at the application details, that sort of thing that kind of shows how he got that. And so what else are matching out? Are the other things are matching out? Other algorithm can do. Is it can also show recommended scholarships. If I go back to my thing and sign as a student, you go to recommended scholarships down here. These are all handed to you by criteria you meet. Ones that you have a lower matching score than 3, you don't get recommended. So yes, now we will go on to 9.1.11 and then 9.4s. And I think that's SETI talking.
Okay, yes, the next requirement is 9.1.11, which covers the report engine functionality. So you'll log out and log in as an admin. 9.1.11 just allows admin to generate the following 6 reports there, which passes, and then as we go through each report, we can show that they pass requirements 9.4.1 through 6. Available scholarships is the first one.
Yeah, 1 second. I have to share my other window. Give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna download all these and we can go through them. Share. Let's see. I'm sharing the entire window right now. I have a lot of faith. Okay. So we want available scholarships. You guys can see this okay, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
All right, so as you can see, the available scholarships only displays scholarships that have the status of open with the fields of the name, the donor, the amount, the donor phone number, email, number available, required majors and minors, GPA, deadlines, and other requirements are also filled in there. The next report would be archive scholarships. Same concept there, just only displaying the scholarships that are marked as with the status of archived by an admin. Next one would be scholarship applicants. That report generates the applicants for a specified scholarship, so um you'd have to choose a scholarship to generate that report for, which Chris did that for
Yeah, scholarship just like this.
I'm the best, or what is it? The best scholarship ever.
I I just did the Walsh one. Let's see
Okay,
what that one looks like.
perfect. So it just
Oh, it's the
shows
same one.
oh,
Sorry.
it's okay. All right, and then the fourth report was the awarded scholarships, which shows the required fields of the scholarship name, the scholarship amount, the student name who was awarded the scholarship, student major, GPA, ethnicity, and email address. The next report is the student demographics report, which shows the demographic report for all students in the system. And the last scholarship would be the active donor report, which um, displays donors that that have donated to a currently open scholarship. And that is it for the report engine that covers 9.1.11 and 9.4.1 through 9.4.6.
Moving on to the backend storage and retrieval, which will be covering sections requirements 9.2.1 through 9.2.9. The team used a Python backend with a Flask library to actually create this web application. Some of this functionality we have already shown. Um, so for 9.2.1, the user account that we created originally, all of that is stored in the backend. As Chris is showing, we used a JSON schema to store all of our information. So as we can see, this is our database file where everything has been stored. Additionally, we saw that the scholarship administrator was able to update roles, change user information, as we saw. So Chris, if you would like to log into an admin, or actually we can see it right there. The user role, Chris's account was originally a student, and as we can see, it was saved to a fund steward. So it shows that this information is being passed from the back end to the front end and vice versa whenever changes are made. Additionally, we can look at requirement 9.2.3, which is storing student applications. So we have a specific section within our JSON schema, which stores all of the different applications. So the ID of the application is a unique identifier. Then we store the user's ID, which is their unique identifier, as well as the scholarship ID's unique identifier, and then all of the other additional information that is needed to fill out an application. So we can see that we are storing all of those, as well as tracking the files, the status, their matching scores, etc. Moving on to requirement 9.2.4. for retrieving and updating an application for a given student. Chris, if you would like to go ahead and log in as a student.
Yep. Give me 1 second. All right.
And then go ahead and look at current applications. As we can see, this student has already been awarded a scholarship, but here's the other scholarship they've applied to. As we can see, it lists them all, allowing for the student to go ahead and edit any information. So Chris, if you'd like to go ahead and show that we can update one. Um, why don't we update a little bit of the information in the form as well as upload some new files?
Sounds good. Let's do this one.
As we can see, we do have active PDF uploading, which stores these files within the backend for retrieval. So Chris has gone ahead and he's updated that application. So if you go back to the JSON file, Chris, as we can see, we've just updated one of these, showing that we have now the two PDF files that we decided to upload, as well as the new information. We can move on now to requirement 9.2.5, which is storing the scholarship information. Um, so Chris, if you go ahead and log in as an administrator. And then go ahead and edit scholarships. As we can see, we have a list of all the scholarships ready to be edited. Chris, if you'd like to choose one to edit. And go ahead and save that. As we can see, we have now updated that information in the backend. Moving on to requirement 9.2.6, which is retrieving and managing scholarships. We just also saw that with what Chris just demonstrated, showing that we can edit the information as well as retrieve and update those fields. And then we can move on to 9.2.7, which is filtering student applications. So Chris, if you want to go back to the application and then look at view applicants, as we kind of saw earlier, Chris was able to view these. And also we can apply filters. So Chris, if you want to do a scholarship name or a student name. So as we can see, we have all of these different filters. Moving on now to requirement 9.2.8, which is filtering scholarship applications instead of just student applications. Go ahead and go to view scholarships, Chris. And now we can see all of the scholarships. So if you want to go ahead and try searching for a scholarship name at the top there, Chris. So you can see we are able to filter it by any of the relevant fields. So as we can see, all of those filters are working. And then finally, we can move on to requirement 9.2.9, which is filtering donors. So this will allow a scholarship administrator to retrieve and filter by donor. As we can see here, we go to the view scholarships, and Chris was already kind of showing this earlier with the sponsor. So we can filter by the donor. And additionally, since we have met all of our requirements, we do have additional features that were referenced in the system level requirements, but not as much in the software level requirements. So Chris, if you go ahead and like view one of those scholarships, as we can see, we can view all the information as well as view the donors. So this one didn't have any donors associated with it. But if we go to one that does have a donor, as we can see, these are the associated donors. So go ahead and go back to dashboard, Chris, and then go ahead and log out. And then additionally, if a user forgets their password, they can go ahead and click forgot password. So first they'll start by entering their email address. And then this is going to retrieve their security questions to verify that this is actually them trying to change their password. Now they can enter their new password. And Chris, is this a different password than what you already had set?
Yes, I made it was before this. It was Parcheski, and now it's Bruh. I'm now logging in with Bruh instead of Parcheski, which is my old password. And so now you can see I've logged in under the new password. So now I'm going to log out and walk you through password or scholarship deletion. If I sign in as administrator, admin, let's see, we are going to go to edit scholarships, and we'll just delete Andy K. Scholar. It's my dad's name. Fun fact. We're going to delete this. And you'll see it still shows up for the admin. But that's because the admin is supposed to see everything. So, but if we go to a student, go to view scholarships, the NDK scholarship is no longer listed. And so now I think I'm going to hand it over to SETI to talk about awarding scholarships.
Yes, that awarding scholarships would be done through the reviewer dashboard. So Chris will log in as a reviewer. Go to view applicants for the scholarships that he is assigned to. So he goes to the best scholarship ever.
Sorry, that's my bad. Applicants.
He can click on application details and then decide if he wants to award the student a scholarship. He does, he just clicks it, gets a little pop-up message. And once he awards it, you get that message on the applicants list. This information gets updated in our awarded scholarships report and also in our database. The status goes to awarded. Another feature we will be walking through is the provider dashboard. So Chris, if you want to log on, go log in as provider. You essentially get the same functions as you would as a fund steward. So you also have a profile that you can update. It gets auto-populated with what you already have saved, but you can edit. If you go to view all scholarships and click on one, you are able to donate to a scholarship from there. So if you want, you could donate to that one. It'll ask you how much you would like to donate. Submit donation. Donating to a scholarship would automatically populate you into the active donor report if the scholarship's still open. This information gets populated into our database as well under donations. Another provider function would be going back to the dashboard, uh, viewing applicants, almost the same as a fund stored. We kind of already went over that. And then view my donations. You get to see donation history for everything you've donated to as a provider. So, um, we can, Chris, what scholarship did we just donate to?
The Min Lee Scholarship.
Min Lee. Click on it. Okay, see, we had two donations and then perfect. I did that earlier, but yeah, you could see donation history if a donor happens to donate more than once to one scholarship, it shows the entire history. So that's easy access to all of the history on the provider dashboard.
All right.
Or one more thing before we end this live demonstration. Since this is a DevSecOps course, we can walk you through some of our automated testing features. So, Chris, if you'd like to pull up the code base.
Yep. Let's see. Do you want the GitLab or the VS Code?
VS Code.
Perfect.
So if you go to the tests folder, there we
Yes,
go.
sir.
Click on that test server. Since all of our logic that is implementing all of these requirements are within a single Flask file, we only need one file to actually test our requirements. These are all of our tests. As you can see, we mock a database to actually run these tests. And then we assert that the logic works as well as the HTML that we are expecting to see on a page is displayed. If we want to go ahead and move on to the GitLab, Chris, just to demonstrate our pipeline, it's important to note, which we'll get to in just a minute, that we have a 45% test coverage, meaning that we are covering 45% of our requirements through automated testing. So, Chris, if you want to go to our pipeline,
Let's see.
and then go ahead and click on the top one there, which will be our most recent pipeline. And then go ahead and click on that little exclamation point or the pipelines.
Sorry. I click on that.
Yep. This will take us to our different jobs. So we currently have two stages, each with a singular job. So our Sonar Cube check will be sending our code off for static analysis. We currently are not passing the quality gates. This is just due to how they're set up in Sonar Cube. But if you look at our test, which was that file that Chris was just showing you, go ahead and click on that. Our tests are automatically being ran, and then they are generating coverage reports. So, Chris, on the right-hand side, if you hit Browse, and then coverage.xml, you can download both of these reports that we are creating within our CI/CD pipeline. Then go ahead and open that up, Chris. So as we can see, this is showing all of the coverage. A 0 means the line was not covered. A 1 means the line was covered. And if you scroll to the top, Chris, within our Flask file, we have 850 valid lines where our test is covering 386 of those, leaving us with a 45% coverage rate. And like I said, these were testing our requirements. So most of the backend is tested, as well as some helper functions, as well as all of the reports engine is being tested within this automated testing, as well as even though it says there's 850 lines, this is just testing our single file. In total, the whole code base has about 5,500 lines of code. And I will hand it off to Min now to complete our project demonstration.
All right, guys, as you can see from like all the demos we've been doing, our system meets all of our outline requirements as listed out in the system ConOps. We've ensured a complete and functional and user-friendly platform by doing stuff like Bennett just talked about, doing DevSecOps, making sure that we're testing and it's secure every step of the way. I hope you guys enjoyed our presentation and thank you for watching.